the NFT markets have been trading rather slowly in the last few days, and it is going to be interesting to see how they will perform in the upcoming weeks as Bitcoin and Ethereum are pumping. This is Block Gems. I'm Marco. Thanks for tuning in. And today we're going to look at on-chain data to try to navigate these rather uncertain water, these rather hard to navigate markets. So let's jump into the content. And if you like this kind of material, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. So on this channel, we've been talking multiple times about the perils of low volume, right? We see that today, yesterday, and a couple of days back, we have been seeing rather low liquidity, right? So many projects are in the space, but few transactions are occurring comparing to the end of August, beginning of September. And they are in fact comparable to the beginning of August, where very few transactions, where very few projects were being launched. So you cannot compare the maturity of the space of today with the maturity of the space of the beginning of August. So this is a concern because low liquidity implies that there is not too much attention to the space. Low volume implies that not so many people are willing to transact at these prices. And if you are, for instance, looking to find exit liquidity, you will be forced to sell at a lower price. And so we will be looking at some of the top projects to get a better idea what is going on in the market. So these are the top projects for the last 30 days. We have the usual suspects here, right? We have the Metaverse, we have, of course, CryptoPunks, and I selected a few. I selected a few to look more in details. The Metaverse, the Bored Apes, the Cool Cats, the Galactic Apes. And let's take a look at this one. So this is the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if you discard this candle here, which is actually an outlier, because if we go and check the X-ray, we see that this is biased by, is distorted by just one single very large purchase that occurred. But if we go and look at the general trend, we see that this has not been doing fantastic in terms of average. We were at 49 with a low of 36, almost 37. And now today, it's not doing fantastic. Things have been trending down slightly, not enormously if we look at other more volatile collections in the NFT space. But this is the blue chip amongst blue chips, right? This is probably what defined the blue chips with the exception of CryptoPunks. So seeing this giant slowly trending down, it is not an awesome sight. And similar phenomena are occurring across the board. So this is the Cool Cats, another blue chip. And we see that this chart is not so exciting. And even if we look at the X-ray, we see that the floor has a general trend that we do not really like, at least in the last part of the chart from the beginning of October and onwards. A similar story, we can look at the Metaverse. By the way, I will dive deeper in the Metaverse because I have even more a particular thesis, let's say, for this project that I want to disclose with you guys. And by the way, this project has been performing very poorly and disappointing so many of the expectations that there were before the reveal. Also, if you look at the cryptodes, same story, similar story as per the Cool Cats, and we notice that this is a generalized trend even when we look at the Galactic Apes. We always see this sort of trend. Now here it is a bit of an illusion to see this upward sloping part in the last few days, because if we look at the X-ray, we see that the floor since the beginning of October has been generally trending down for the last 2 weeks, so to speak. At the beginning of October, we have this surge, but for the last 2 weeks, we've been going down. So I know that this is not awesome news. We have to be objective. We have to look at the data for what it is. If you don't like the chart, unfortunately, guys, don't take it up against me. Look at the data. This is what it is. And I wanted to provide some even more granular way of looking at things, taking into account rarities. So I've prepared some exclusive charts for you because you guys know that I like to give you exclusive material on this channel, and this is something that we've always been doing since the beginning. And this is a chart for the Megaverse. Unfortunately, it's not in the title, I should have added, but this is the Megaverse. One thing that I wanted to share with you guys, here we're plotting the rarity score, and this is my own rarity score, but it's very similar to the Rarity Tools score V1. I have just slightly different parameters, but it is more or less a similar way of measuring rarity, plotted against the price in Ether. And we are looking at the transaction price in red this time and the listing price in blue. So basically, if we just look at the transaction prices, what we see is that, of course, as the rarity increases, also the price increases. But what I've been noticing for the Megaverse is that as much as rarity increases a lot, you do not have that huge of an increase in terms of price. And this is super important, guys, because it means that holders of rare pieces are just selling at 2x the floor price because they are seeking for exit liquidity. They say, okay, I don't care if this is a rare piece, I just want to get out of this. And when this happens, this is usually not the best sign. And actually, my thesis for Megaverse going further in the future is not one of the best ones. I don't think they will stay in the top 10 for volume for a long time, to be honest with you. That this is my personal thesis. Some people will hate on me. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I believe that if we see this type of downward pressure when it comes even to rarer pieces, then we have a problem. Of course, they could come up with an idea that is new, that is revolutionary, but to revamp the collection. But as things stand right now, it doesn't look that great to me. And if we go and look at the cool cats, let me show you. Here, the story is different because if we move, so if we look at the floor price, okay, we are around 6 point something, right? 6 and something. And we move to the highest rarity level. We see that the increase in price and how at the price level at which people are willing to transact for is rather high, guys. So it's not just the double, but people transact at 3 times, 4 times. And of course, it also depends on the rarity, but for Megaverse, we had seen no transaction level at, for instance, 3 times the floor price, 4 times the floor price. While here it does happen. So people do believe in the scarcity idea of this collection because they believe in the rarity idea of some of their pieces. Also, another thing we see is how much more inflected this curve is. So how it curves. The curve is much steeper, so to speak. So how it accelerates much faster as the rarity increases. And this makes me a little bit more bullish or more positive for cool cats compared to Megaverse. Another collection, this is the galactic apes. We have looked at the general trend in the X-ray, but here we are considering another variable, which is the rarity score. I also like this one a lot because people are transacting at, say, 8 times, not 8 times maybe too much, but 4 or 5 times the floor price, no problem. And by the way, this guy here, I believe he scored the deal of the century here. He scored a pretty rare galactic ape for 1.11 Ether. So really an awesome deal that he was able to score. And so I also wanted to discuss another usage that we could do on these charts. Indeed, we can look at how you can find good deals, not only amongst the deals that have been already executed. So when we look at the red dots, we're looking at the transaction prices, which means that all these deals have been already executed. Somebody has already bought this one, for instance, but nobody has bought to the blue dots yet. So maybe what you can find if you're interested in buying a galactic ape, say, what you can do is to say, okay, I have interest in buying a galactic ape. Should I buy something like the ape 2117 at this floor, at this price point, 1.5, say, rather than buy from this other guy here that is listing at 2 and for a much lower rarity score. And of course, you can also go one by one and see all the apes that are listed and compare rarity prices and rarity scores one by one. But it is much easier to have a chart like this one where you can just hover on a point that sounds interesting. It could be this one, for instance, or if you are interested in something more close to the floor, it could be something like this one. And you say, okay, I prefer to buy this piece rather than this one. And you immediately know which ID it is. So if you're interested in looking at this type of charts, I have 2 available for free on my Discord. The link to the Discord is disclosed below in the description. Please join if you want to access this kind of material for free, absolutely for free. You can do it using the Sapphire bot. All the information on how to use the bot that will return this kind of charts is in the Discord. You can find it in the general channel in the Discord. And guys, I hope that this will be useful for you. The collections available for now are Mechaverse and the Cool Cats. And if that's the case, if this material is useful for you, please remember to subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, hit the like button. Thank you very much and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.